Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Ask the Expert. This is now October 14th, and we are going to be getting started in just a second. With our topic today, will be on personal credit. I know that that is something that a lot of people would take interest in, especially now during these times where we're being challenged financially with those that are being having to work from home or transition or looking for a job due to going from full time to transitioning to part time. So we're going to go ahead and get started in just a second. We're going to give it a few minutes to give everyone an opportunity to log in, make sure that the computer audio is working fine, and I'll do a few housekeeping. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll get started in just about maybe about 60 seconds or so. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Expert. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a second with our presentation for today. And guess what? You get yours truly. I will be teaching on personal finance today. Some of the things will be factual, such as the things that we would get out of a textbook or things that we would that we would go on to maybe Google or YouTube or different platforms and research. Some will be personal experiences that I've actually gone through, or some from some of my clients. And of course, we won't disclose any names or anything like that. But I will bring you guys some live case scenarios and some of the things that worked and what didn't work. And so I want to give this disclaimer. I advise everyone everything is individually based. Your credit is based on your social security number. So just as your social security number is unique to you, it is also unique in credit. So everything doesn't work for everyone. So I strongly suggest that you have a one-on-one consultation, find out what works with you. Martin Business Solution is the company that I own and operate. My name is Candy Martin, and in that we do credit consulting, financial planning, financial strategy. It's just you need more than just a plan. You need a strategy on how to execute it. So I advise everyone, if it's not me, then someone that you trust, preferably someone with a financial background or someone that does credit or things of that nature. They have a good understanding of it. So I want you guys to make sure that you get all your questions answered, all your I's dotted, all your T's crossed. This meeting is being recorded. It is also being live streamed on YouTube. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. And this replay will be available on our website at martinbusinesssolution.com and also on aklegacyfoundation.org. This webcast is being sponsored by the AK Legacy Foundation. That foundation principles are financial literacy and business development, making sure that each and every person have adequate access to the knowledge and the information. And so I'm asking you guys, take a minute, share this on your social media page. You have my permission. Please invite others in. We want to share this information with our community. So let's go ahead and get started with the presentation. And if you have a question, please put it in the chat on YouTube, or you can email me at info@martinbusinesssolution.com. And I'll make sure you guys get all that information toward the end. But if I don't get a chance to answer your question directly here on the live, don't worry. I will definitely respond to all answers as soon as possible. I do go back and make sure that I don't miss anyone. I want to make sure that each person get your questions answered. So I'm going to take a second, and I am going to, I want to share some information with you. Let me bring it up. All right. All right. So, all right. So one of the things that I do want to make sure that everyone has a chance, I want everyone to check the check your screen, make sure that you can see this. And if you're listening to an audio, I will try to make it my point to point out some of the things just in case you can't see the screen. But if you're able, follow along with us. Put comments, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, because we will be putting content on here that can help you develop in your personal finances as well, not just here on this live, but we'll do it continuously. So you definitely don't want to miss any of the information. All right, so let's go ahead. The first thing that I want to discuss with you guys are we're going to talk about 5 facts. I know that there's a lot of myths out there. If you do this, then that'll happen. I get this all the time, what my cousin said or my uncle said. And so we're going to talk about some facts. We want to make sure that you guys are getting the right, accurate information. All right. According to the balance.com, $1.057 trillion in credit card debt as of March of 2019. And we know based on the March of 2020, this number has definitely skyrocketed due to the pandemic. And speaking of the pandemic, my hearts and prayers go out to everyone that has been affected negatively by COVID. I pray, especially if anyone has had anyone to transition due to the virus, my hearts and prayers are with you guys. And so I want to make sure that we're taking care of our personal finances, because this is something that is waiting. It's sort of like somebody hiding behind the bushes, waiting for us to come home and then pounce out at us. So for lack of a better way to put it, whenever we get to some sort of a new normal, it'll never be normal again. But whenever we do get back to what normal can be as best as possible, the finances we're gonna have to deal with it. So that's why I was, compelled to do this today. I want to make sure that, that this is not getting left out, because I don't want anything pouncing out after you guys. Once things can kind of settle, you can kind of wrap your head around this entire pandemic, if we can ever do that. And we come to a place where, okay, now I can start moving forward. I'm dealing with it, and now I'm ready to move forward. We don't need the ball to drop with all of this financial debt. So I want to make sure that I partnered with the AK Legacy Foundation and came on and did this webcast today. All right. 56% of people in the U.S. have no rainy day fund, which means if you have a decent job or a good job, or you have a successful business and you're doing well, and you're at the point to where you're able to pay all your bills and you're paying your bills on time, and you're able to do a few things of leisure, life is kind of going steady for you, but you still didn't have enough to save. If you needed an extra $2,500 right now, would you even have it to use without it having to come from maybe your mortgage or taking money out of your savings? So there's a savings account, and then there's a rainy day fund, but I call it a just in case fund. I don't like the word rainy day, but you want to have a savings. You want to have, of course, you're checking for all your operating, paying your bills, but you also still want to have another saving for emergency funds. Emergency funds mean things happen, life happens, things do come up. Family may need you, whatever the case may be. And you don't want to take this from your savings, and you don't want to take it from your operating account. So 56% of Americans don't have it. So that is something that I'm working with another group. I'm not going to call them out. I'm working with another group, and I think we met back in August on a virtual, and I challenged each one of them to save $1,000 from August through March. So March of 2021, I'm going to be checking in with that group of people to find out that they at least save $1,000. And if you already had $1,000, you have to save another $1,000, and so forth. And so we want to end that we don't have savings. So we want to put an end to that. 46% of baby boomers have less than a $10,000 saved for retirement. And I have this slide that I pulled out because I wanted to make sure. I was like, baby boomers, that's kind of close to my age. And so, but when I looked at it, I saw the age group. It is, if you were born between 1946 and 1964, you're considered a baby boomer. The next generation is Generation X, where I fall if you were born between 1965 and 1980. So this is kind of close to that gap, and I'm sure the numbers aren't too far off. But 46% of baby boomers have less than $10,000 saved for retirement, and that means a combination of savings account, 401ks, retirement pension, the whole kit and caboodle. They have less than $10,000 saved for retirement, and one of my good friends always tell us on our credit education calls, he always, bring it back to us. Back in the days of old, people were dying around 68, 69, 71. You were checking out of here. So by the time you retired at 65, you only had 5 good years left. And so, you could make it off of that. Well, things have changed. We're taking better care of ourselves. We're eating healthier. We're working out. I did 5 miles this morning. Woohoo! And so we're taking better care of ourselves. So our life expectancy is going beyond 75 years of age. There are people 88, 96, 94. So $10,000 would probably have lasted in that 5-year period. But nowadays, we're going beyond that. And we're not relying on our government. We're not going to put, too much faith and hope in that for them to secure for us. So we have to do things to make sure that we're taken care of. And that's a bit of a sidebar. If you don't have a business, you start one. That's a whole nother class, a whole nother topic. And so, but those are some of the things that you would need to take into consideration. And I know I have some friends that are in finances, that have insurance companies, that are into investments. If you need some information or any type of advice for investing, for the stock, retirement, IRA, Roth IRA, all those things, reach out to us. We have people that are ready and able to assist you and to give you good, unbiased answers. They're going to tell it to you real, like, if you do this, it'll be good. If you do that, I wouldn't advise. And they're going to allow you to make the decision. These are people that are not money hungry and pouncing on people because of their vulnerability or their lack of knowledge when it comes to finances. And so I pride myself on that as well. I want to make sure that I give you the facts and not my opinion. Then I can advise you as a consultant. I can also say, okay, in my personal opinion, or in my experiences, these are some of the things that I would or wouldn't do based on what you're trying to accomplish. That takes time and patience. So you want to make sure that you get with someone that's not just trying to make a sale. We want to pair you with someone that wants to help you in your financial endeavors, especially if you're aiming for financial freedom. We want to make sure here at the AK Legacy Foundation, partnering up with Martin Business Solutions and so many other of my my co-laborers in this endeavor, we want to make sure that each and every person, we put an end to these numbers. $10,000 is not a lot of money. We can all think of what we can do with $10,000 right now if we had it. But think about it. If you're retired and this is it, and that's all you have that you have to live on, it is not enough money. But we want to make sure that we put an end to that. Oh boy, here we go. 40% of millennials. Okay, so let's pause right there. Let's find out who our millennials are. Those are persons born between 1981 and 1996. My daughter is a 96er, so she is a millennial. So I can definitely have some personal experiences to share with this slide. And I appreciate the fact that my daughter, she's very millennial, and her and all of her friends that I can think of, they're so conscious now of their spending, they're conscious of their health, they're wanting to save our planet, they are totally involved in voting. And so these numbers are changing. But we want to make sure that all the millennials are changing. Thankfully, my daughter is exposed. She's been exposed to a better mindset, a better decision making. And so we need to make sure that we share this information with our millennials. It is not just for us, baby boomers and Generation X. A lot of times we forget about the youth, we forget about the young adults, we forget about the kids. Do not forget about them. They are concerned. They are getting involved. And it's a way with days of old. But according to this slide by Credit Karma, which a lot of the millennials they use Credit Karma. It says 40% of millennials have spent money they didn't have to keep up with their friends, and most keep it a secret. And that's one of the things I appreciate about my daughter. She has an organization called Girlhood. So if you have a millennial and you don't think that they would probably do all the things, the parent stuff, link them up with Girlhood. It is an organization that teaches millennial stuff, such as millennial money, beauty, makeup, health and stocks and saving. They talk all those things millennial to put it into this very slide right here where it says 40% of millennials spend money that they don't have to keep up with their friends. So kudos to Girlhood, that plug out there for you guys. I'll have more information about them coming up pretty soon. But anyway, so 40% of them, which would mean 4 out of 10, are spending money they don't have because of they have the ability to do it on a credit card or a debit card. So here's the thing about the debit card, how the banks have set it up. Yeah, okay, in cases of an emergency, you don't want your child stranded on side the road, needing gas and swiping the card and the card don't work. That's an emergency. But the bank doesn't know if this is an emergency or not. So it lets them swipe the card. It let the transaction go through. So if they're out eating dinner with their friends and they only have enough to buy the fries, well, everybody else is ordering steak. Well, they'll go ahead and order up because they know the debit card is going to let them slide through. And then not only will they overspend on the transaction, now they're going to have the bank fee, and then anything else that was coming in is now they're going to have a bank fee on top of a bank fee. So it is set up to where, and I know the big banks don't like what I'm about to say, but I don't care. That's where they make their money. They make the money on fees because, for number one, if I put $100 in and I spend $100, they have made no money. All they have done was service my account. But if I overdraft here, overdraw there, they make $5 here, $5 there. That tends to add up. And so that's where the money comes in. So for the millennials, we didn't have that back in our day. If you didn't have it in your account, it would say decline, step away from the register. Well, now, through the era that we're in where everything is so digital and on our phone, they have incorporated it. And they know millennials are big spenders. And so they have it now where they have called a college account where they can swipe their card and or use their Apple Pay or whatever the case may be. And the transaction will be approved so that they can go ahead on with the transaction, but they will make the money on the back end with the bank fees. So educate your youth. Let them know, look, this card is not just this is not a money well. You have to be responsible in your spending. And it may sound like I'm fussing, but yes, I am. I guess I had a little flashback. I have a college student. So hey, I understand. 43 million Americans have a credit score of 599 or less. So away with being embarrassed or shame, it's almost like we're all in this boat together. Away with feeling too embarrassed to ask questions or to ask for help. Ask for help. Get the help. Get the information. Put it into the magnet. And so back in days of old, this would have been something to be shameful of. But as we see, 43 million Americans have a credit score of less than 599. Therefore, we need help. And so away with the stigma of putting on so that no one don't know we have bad credit. No, we can get together, team up, let's partner up, let's put an end to it. So some of the things we're going to talk about a little later, I just kind of want to lay some of the facts out first so that when we get into the discussions, you'll understand why we're even having this talk. A lot of times people think we're talking about credit, we're talking about getting a car or just doing some magic potion so that we can go out and get a house or, just have good credit so that, for whatever reason. No, we're talking about changing the game of credit to where the consumers, which would be me and us's, where we're coming out victorious and we're not being subject to high interest rates, fees and penalties and all sorts of things. We are going to come out victorious because not only are we going to be good stewards of our money, and we're going to be thankful to God that He has blessed us with it, we're going to also know how to maneuver and to use credit to our advantage and how we are going to take control of it and be victorious in the end, and how we're going to be the lenders and not the borrowers. So no, I'm not going to stop preaching, but hey, hey, it is what it is. All right, and the source for that slide was money.msn.com. So you can check the resources. So just like I said, poor credit can fill people with anxiety, embarrassment, frustration, fear, and confusion. That is the purpose of this webcast today by the AK Legacy Foundation. We are getting rid of that. There's nothing to be anxious about. Don't be embarrassed. What would be a shame would be to know that you need help and don't get it when there's help available. I have a Tuesday night call that I can connect you to that happens every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, where they're giving the information away about restoring your credit. And we have, and yes, I do, my office, we do have the tools and resources. We have a system that you can use along with the free information to get improved credit. So don't let anxiety leads to stress and worry, and then poor health sets in and all those other things. And so we don't want you to be filled with anxiety. Embarrassment, don't be embarrassed. We just saw on the slide, it said 43 million Americans have a credit score of 599 or less. So away with that fronting and stunting. We need to get our credit together. So yes, all right, don't be frustrated. There's a process. Look, you didn't get into it overnight, so you're not going to get out of it overnight. But there's hope, so be hopeful. Don't be frustrated. When you make up your mind that, hey, I want to improve my credit score and I want to have better finances, I want to have that rainy day fund, I want to have that savings account, I want to work toward my retirement, I want to have those things put in place. There are systems available, and yes, I do at Martin Business Solution. I do have something that I can offer, but this is not a sales pitch. This is not a sales. I'm just telling you, don't be frustrated. Help is out there. There are so many free websites that I can refer you to that have things. If you have a credit card, reach out to your credit card provider. They generally have free webinars, or they have credit consultants that they can refer you to. So it doesn't have to be me, but it needs to be somebody. Fear. Don't be fearful. Look, it is. I have some clients that come in for their credit consultant. They'll come in for the consultation for on their credit card, their finances. And so we're getting ready to do a strategy session. And they'll come in and I'll say, well, bring all your bills, bring everything. They'll bring me stacks and stacks of envelopes, the things they haven't even opened. You have to open it, not open it out of fear. It's not going to make it go away. So let's face it. And then, like I said, partner with someone that is knowledgeable in the area that can truly help you to where, to take you by the hand. You don't need anybody just selling you some magic potion. Look, I need some real results. I need some help. I'm ready to get this resolved. How can you help me? Those are some of the questions that you want to ask. All right. Confusion. It is a lot of information out there. It is information overload with technology. YouTube, Google, everything. I mean, it's just a mountain of information. So that's another reason why I suggest getting a professional. Like I said, if not me, somebody, because you don't want to be spinning your wheel going forward, but going forward in the wrong direction. So yes, it can be. And a lot of times it's because we don't have the information. We don't have access to the resources. And we just don't know what questions to ask. And so that is going to be something else that we're going to take care of. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It happened. Great people. It happens to great people all the time. I hear a lot of people say sometimes bad things happen to good people. So don't be ashamed. We're gonna get some things. We want to make sure that at the end of this webcast that you're feeling confident, excited, and abundant. You feeling like a weight lifted off your shoulder. No, your credit score may still be the same at the end of this call, at the end of this webcast, but now you're going to feel a sense of hope and that you can move forward. If you take this information that I'm going to share with you and you apply it, trust me, and if you have great credit, let me talk to those that have great credit. Great. Get this information, share it with someone else. But you can still learn some tips. There may be some things that we'll discuss toward the end that you may say, oh, I didn't know that. So now you can take and improve your score and also just save money elsewhere. If you have a 750 or above on all three of your credit reports, kudos to you. Stick around. It's still going to be something said that could help you in your financial journey as well. Hey, if you have a 750, let's shoot for 800. If you have 800, let's shoot for 850. But in every case, let's shoot to save money and to make better decisions. All right, I call them happy slides. All right, good credit. We're gonna talk about how this card. We can talk about it now while I'm on this slide. Um, the better your score, the lower your interest rate. The lower your interest rate, typically the more money that you can put in. So it can make a difference if you're going to pay $500 a month for a house, or if you're going to pay $1,000 a month for a house. And some people say, well, I can afford $1,000, but what type of house are you getting? Are you getting the really nice house because you got a lower interest rate? Now you have more money to put into the house, or are you having to get a substandard house because your credit score is not the best and the interest rates are higher, even though you're going to pay the same $1,000 as someone else, and you're like, well, how did they get a 5,000 square feet house and I got a 1,700 square feet house? And that's we're paying the same amount of money. It has to do with your interest rate, which means also has to do with the amount of money that you can put out. New cars. I worked at a car lot, and those of you who know me know what car lot I'm speaking about. I worked at a car lot for 10 years. And so I know a little bit about selling cars, buying cars, trading cars in, and all the workings of a car lot. Well, a lot of times people tell me, well, I just went and got this brand new car, so I must have decent credit. No, you can get a car. You can have a 400 and get a car. New, you, not so good, you can get a car because of the collateral that the car holds. So don't base it off of that. Base it off of how much money you're paying for the car. All right, so that's what you want to base it off, and that's going to be determined based on your interest rate. If you're moving into a new place and you're having to pay a $500 deposit on your light to get the lights turned on, and then someone else can move in, don't pay a deposit. Well, that's based on credit. Your credit determines your car insurance rate. It determines your deposit rate. If you're applying for a cell phone, when a new iPhone come out, a new Android, the Samsung, and all those things come out, goes off of your credit. And so it determines if you have to pay a deposit to get the phone, or if you just get the phone and walk out the store. It's all based on credit. So that's another reason why you want to improve your credit, not just so that you can get things, but you want to be able to attain and take possession of things without giving out more money. You already have to pay the house note. You already have to pay the car note and the cell phone bill. And so when you add a deposit into that, that's more money that you have to come up with, more money that you got to get out. So, and then that becomes stress. And then, so that's where we're not just talking about obtaining things. We're talking about obtaining things with a lower interest rate, obtaining things without coming out of your pocket with extra money. And sometimes you don't even get that money back. All right. So this is one of the things I would love for you guys to write down, take a picture of the screen, do whatever you got to do. This is very, very, very important. So let me do something really quick. I wanted to make sure that you can get a full view of this slide. All right. So I want to make sure that everybody gets to get a picture. And I put mine out of the way so that you can get a full picture. All right. All right. So payment history, 35% of your score. So imagine as a pie or a chart, or however you need to visualize it. 35% of that is payment history, paying on time versus delinquencies and all that. And they usually go over a 2-year period. So if you're serious about restoring your credit, I'm going to tell you how to do it right here, right now. And so let's buckle up. So I've given you a little back history and a little facts. And so anyway, 35% of your score is payment history, paying your bills on time. So if you're going to seek credit restoration services, like I said, which is one of the services that I do offer, but there are so many out there. But make sure you know the difference between credit repair and credit restoration. There's a big difference. All right. So credit restoration is a service where you're going to buckle down and do the work. So you're going to get a service provider such as myself or some other financial strategist, and you're going to come up with a plan. Okay. Once you come up with the plan, then we're going to come up with a strategy of how to execute it. So the plan now is we're just going to pretend that everyone is enrolled in my program, and I'm really about to give you what I give what the clients pay for. So you come to us, we sit down, and one of the first questions we ask, okay, are you now ready to start paying all your bills on time? Are you in a financial position to where you can do that? If the person says, I'm struggling, I'm in between jobs, and okay, now it's not the time to do credit restoration. We need to get you stable and get you in thriving mode. Right now, if you're in surviving mode, credit restoration may not be a thing for you to do at this particular time, unless you're just really going to buckle down and do the work. All right. So 35% is payment history, which means you can pay every bill on time. I suggest getting some type of bill chart, making sure you know when the bills are due. Put it in your phone. I don't know, whatever works best for you, whatever you're going to be consistent with, that is what you need to do. Every bill that you own, every bill that you pay, you want to have it written out in front of you, visual, so that we can come up with this plan for you. And then I'm going to come back and give you some more tips, but I'm just trying to get through the first part of it. 30%. Capacity amount owed. So for example, if your credit card has a limit of $100, your credit card limit is $100, don't go over 30%. That's capacity amount owed. So that means if your credit card limit is $100, you don't need to spend more than $30. Treat that credit card as if it only has a $30 credit limit. So for every 100, 30%. So for every 100, $30. All right. That is, make the $30 your new mental credit limit. Okay. And that determines, that alone boosts your score. So if you have $1,000 charged on one of your cards and it's maxed out at $1,000, you need to get it paid below $300. Okay. Length of credit. How long you've had credit? I had someone to tell me recently they just closed their Sears card. I was like, no. You know, they had this card since the 90s, and since the 90s, right at the beginning of 2000. Anyway, they just closed it. And I was like, oh no. She was like, well, there's no Sears around. And, I don't even know if they're in business. Keep the card. If you have credit cards, keep them. You already have them. And we're going to talk in a little bit about how to use the credit cards to your advantage, okay? New credit inquiries. So credit is based on credit. If you're not using it, you lose it. How often that you apply for credit without overdoing it, all right? I know it's like, it's almost like you're rolling the dice. Should I let them run my credit or should I not? But we'll talk a little bit about how to do that in a strategic way. You can't just go and use the card. You have to be very strategic about it, okay? Types of credit. Installment loan versus revolving. If all your credit is nothing but credit cards, then you don't have a good mix of credit. You want to have maybe a car note, a loan at the bank, credit card, house note, a good mixture. And if you don't have a house note, then maybe an installment loan. Or if you have a house note, you don't want to have 4 car notes. So you want to have a good mix of credit. That is 10% of your score. So I want to go back to payment history. So let's say you haven't had the opportunity, you're just now getting ready to start paying everything on time. You want to reach out to any of those creditors or anything that you're currently paying. Now, you definitely need to get on our Tuesday night call to get more in depth. So I'm just going to give a summary. There's no way that I can give all this information in an hour's time and really get into it, but I just really want to share a basic overview with you guys, kind of wake the mind up, get you to asking some questions. All right, so on-time payments is very, very important. And so we want to make sure that you categorize that. That's where we get into budgeting and expense reports and spreadsheets and all those sorts of things. So you really want to make sure that you're paying them on time, paying them early. Capacity and amount owed. When paying your credit cards, make sure that they're down 30%. If your credit card is due on the 10th of the month, here's a tip for you. And a tip is just what it is. If you try it, to help your credit score increase, okay? Pay your credit card down below 30%. So I gave the example, if the card is $100 and you need to have it paid down below 30, all right? Don't pay it to zero. And a lot of times people say, well, they're going to pay it to zero. You can, but don't. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Um, Pay it down, have $5 left on it. You use it again the next month, go get some gas, do whatever you got to do. That's if you're building. Now, if your credit is pretty stable and you can take 30 days and charge the card and pay all your bills up in 30 days, fine. But if you're just getting started, just kind of go here. There's two ways with credit. We have the restoration, those that we're just trying to get from the 599 or below score, just getting them on the winning side at 626. I mean at 640, to 680, and then we're trying to get them to 700. Then there's that club that's 700, 750. We're showing them how to increase and add more points as well. Because remember, the higher the point, the lower the interest rate. So that's really the whole objective. We're not restoring our credit and getting it all cleaned up so you can go out and go shopping and borrow till you fall. We're aiming toward getting the interest rate down so that when you pay your house note or your car insurance, your car insurance is cheaper, and your house note is more affordable. So those are some of the things that why we're talking about that. But anyway, back to the credit card. If the credit card is due on the 10th of the month, you would want to pay, and let's say you got to pay $50, which is using it for an example, and it's due on the 10th, $50 due on the 10th. You would want to pay $25 on the 3rd and then $25 on the 8th. Just doing that simple step right there will help increase your score over a period of time. All right. And so that's one tip. And then you always want to pay more than the minimum balance due. They even tell you that on your credit card statement. But if, let's say, worst case scenario, all you can afford to do right now is the minimum balance, at least do that and just break the payment up. But you want to make sure you do it before the due date. And there's another date that you want to keep in mind when dealing with credit cards, your reporting date. What date do they report to the credit bureau? All right, and let me I want to check something really quick. I want to check because I know I get so passionate about talking about credit. I want to see if we have any questions before before I just keep going, because I can go. When it comes to credit, I know what I'm talking about, not just out of the textbooks, but I know what I'm talking about through the experience, and I know how important it is to us all. All right. So, like I said, we want to make sure that you're paying it before the due date. You want to make sure that you're splitting the payments in half for the minimum payment. So the other thing that you want to do, the reporting date, the date that the credit card company or the loan reports to the credit bureau. So like we said earlier, the bill is due on the 10th. Well, if the reporting date is the 8th of the month, that's before the 10th. So now you want to make sure you do it before the 8th, because the reporting date is where you want to make sure that when your payments for the month get paid, you split the payments up, you made the payment, you want that to reflect on your very next credit reporting to the credit agency. So you want to pay it before the reporting date, you want to pay it before the due date, and you want to make sure that you split the payments in half. Some people I know, they do it in 3, so it's just kind of whatever works best for you. And we can talk a little bit more about that personally, tailor-made just for your account. I am offering everyone a complimentary session. That's a 15-minute consult call where you can kind of give me an overview of where you are, and I can give you some suggestions on what to do next. That is just a quick overview call. We won't get into the actual logistics of it, but please take advantage of the complimentary call, and I'll tell you toward the end how you can do that. All right. Length of credit, like I spoke about how the lady had the card since 99 is to close it. The longer you have credit, the better the history is. Not just how long you've had it, how long you've had it well. So let's say a year ago, you kind of had some situations to come up. So this is also going to be crucial to those that are currently having this issue due to the pandemic. Well, just start getting yourself prepared to start over. When you start over, look at my starting point. Hey, for the last 6 months, I've paid it on time. Now you're building a credit history, even though 6 months prior to that, it was just, all in an array. But now for the last 6 months, you've been paying everything on time. That has started you over. Keep going. Don't look at the score. Like the fitness people tell you, stay off the scale. Just keep walking and eating right. But we keep looking back at that scale like, oh my God, I'm not losing any weight. Same thing with the credit. Stop watching the score. Just start doing the thing and moving forward. And over time, you will see the result. New credit inquiry. If you never use credit, if you never do an inquiry, that means you don't have any credit. You never ever use it for anything. Then you won't get any points. But you don't want to over inquire either. Types of credit, we talked about that. Just making sure that you have a good mixture and everything is not the same. All right. All right. So that's one section of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And so I'm going to take a quick second to do my commercial break, and then I'm going to we're going to get into another part of the credit, and then I'm going to be taking questions from you guys. So if anyone has a question, get your question together, and then we will. So what I want to do, I want to share something with you guys really quick. All right, so those that are in business, any female entrepreneurs, if you are in business, I want to invite you to register for this event. Just like we're talking here today about different topics, that we're going to also have this conference is not just so we can get together and give away door prizes, which we are giving away door prizes, but we're going to be talking about marketing, social media, tax tips, branding, business credit. And we're going to find out something very interesting about business credit. So you definitely want to tune into that. And all of our panelists for this women's conference are all professionals in their area, in their own right. I'm so thankful that they have agreed to come on. The cost for the conference is $20. Trust me, this is a great investment. And if you're in business, this is just a tax write-off for you. Utilize it. Get on here, get the education so that you can further your business, whether you're booming in business, whether you're just getting started. If you haven't started and you're thinking about starting a business, you definitely want to be in on this conference. Sorry, guys, we'll have something for you guys later, but this is just for the ladies. And another thing about this women's conference, I want to let you guys know that this is part of the AK Legacy Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization. So in your ticket proceeds, a part of that goes into the foundation to help with financial literacy and to also help with business development. So it all goes towards a good cause. It gives you a tax deduction. So it's a win-win-win. We will have door prizes that I have mentioned already. And so I want to make sure that I gave everyone the opportunity to register. The registration information is there. You go to aklegacyfoundation.org. Once you're there, you can click on the tab that says Women in Business, or you can do /W-N-B. Please join us. It's going to be a great time. You'll get to hear from women all across the country, from California to New York and everywhere in between. We will have people on, and it's going to be a phenomenal time. But one of the main things I want to talk to about this conference, we're not just coming to learn about marketing and social media and networking and getting our business exposed. We're coming to learn some of the things that are not being talked about. How is it that I'm a startup stay-at-home mom that got laid off from my job, and I'm having to pay $2,000 in taxes, whereas someone with a multi-billion-dollar company can only pay $750 in taxes? Oh yes, we're going to talk about it. And so we're going to talk about doing it the legit way and the right way. And if you should have to pay taxes, we'll talk about some of the things that you can do to be able to do that, to be able to pay your taxes, where it's not stressful and strenuous. So you want to make sure that you're in on that. Get the education, get the knowledge, get your questions answered. All right. So I'm going to take a few minutes, and I'm going to answer some questions. So I'm going to pull up the questions. So y'all hold on just a second. Let me get some questions for you guys. All right. So one of the questions I have, let's see, is how do I stop calls? Okay, great. That is a great question. I guess they mean how do they stop harassing calls? So, okay, that's a good question. I'm gonna answer that one. And let's see, I want to answer one more. All right, I'm gonna get one more. All right, so let's see. All right, one more. I'm going to the chat. So yeah, so you have to start somewhere. Yes, really, really good. All right, so one of the questions that I have, it says, how do you stop harassing calls? There is the Federal Trade Commission. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them or not. Well, the Federal Trade Commission, they have what's called the opt-out screen. Everyone that if you want the link or the website, you see my website is up on the screen, it's at martinbusinesssolution.com. Go to that website. There is a section that says contact us toward the bottom or at the top, somewhere on the website, it says contact us. In there, put your tax questions, put your credit restoration questions in there. I will definitely email you back with an answer. But one of the ways you can stop harassing phone calls is to do the screen opt-out. That is through the Federal Trade Commission. If you have not given someone permission, not just to call you, but to call you to harass you, then they are not to call you. All right. So after the third time, it is a federal offense. So you want to maybe have a phone log next to your phone where you keep track of it, the time, the number, the date, and maybe if the person left a message, you want to have that information. Then you also want to subscribe. When you do the screen opt out, it eliminates those robocalls. The system, if you're flagged, the system says, okay, hey, we can't call this number. They have opt out. So you want to make sure that you do that. Another way, if you owe a creditor, you made the agreement between you and, we're going to use JCPenney for example. You go in JCPenney, you get a charge account, life happens, you lose your job, or you just fall on hard times, or whatever the case may be, and you just stop paying it, okay? Well, a year later, you're like, hey, you know what? I really want to take care of this. And then you get this phone call all of a sudden from ABC Collection. It says, hey, you owe JCPenney's $100, and so we're calling to collect on that. All you have to do, sir, ma'am, ABC Collection, I do not know you guys. I did not enter an agreement with you all. If you have anything for me, send it to me in writing in the call. Do not let them pressure you, yell at you, talk to you any kind of way. It is, first of all, it's your phone, you're paying the bill. So for right there, for no other reason, you can hang up on them. There's no law that says you have to talk to third-party debt collection agencies. You did not make an agreement with ABC Collection. You made the agreement with JCPenney. All right. So that's the first thing. Once you tell them that and they say, well, we would send it to you in writing, but can you verify your address? No. If you are who you say you are, and I have made an agreement with you, you would already have my address. Because, you know, when you fill out an application for products or services, and the first thing they want your name, they want your social, they want your address, phone number, and not just your phone number, but they want the phone number to 3 of your closest friends and relatives, and possibly where you work. So no, I'm not giving you my address. You're supposed to already have it. If you have a legit claim against me, you already have my address, you have my phone number, you have my social, you have everything you need. No, I'm not verifying. So do not verify anything over the phone. If you verify with a third-party debt collector, you have just entered into a new contract, a new binding agreement with them. Because when you give them the information, you're now saying, hey, I know I owe JCPenney, but now I owe you too. And lots of times people pay these third-party debt collectors and the debt is still there. It is still on their credit report because you did not pay the person that you owe. So for example, if Sally borrows $5 from John, okay, Sally doesn't pay it back. John can't go ask Bob for the money. He can only get it from Sally. So that's what happens a lot of times. The third-party debt collectors, they come to us saying, hey, you know that $5 that you borrowed? Yeah, but I didn't borrow it from you. I borrowed it from JCPenney. So that's who I owe. So I can sit down with you if you have anything like that. I can work with you and show you how to properly and legally dispute any harassment calls, any third-party debt collection item. We will show you how to do that the legal way, the legit way. There is a law, there's a law, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that protects consumers, that is current, is active. We go by that. We just apply the law. That's all it is. A lot of times people wonder, well, how you do this and how you do that. You got to follow the law. If you don't follow the law, you're breaking all the rules. So follow the law and everything will be okay. All right. Next question. Let me see what we have for another question. All right. This one says recently divorced and now I'm responsible for paying. Oh, me, oh my. So let me put this disclaimer out there. I am not an attorney. Okay, oh, my camera's not on. Look into the camera. I am not an attorney. Okay. All right. So, but the company that I work with, my organization, we do have credit attorneys on our staff that advise us and that have already pre-formatted everything for us. And so we're following the system. We're following the law. We're dotting our I's and crossing our T's, and we're not deviating from that. We don't want anybody in any legal trouble. So there's certain things that you have to do. So that kind of depends. If the debt was created during your marriage, depending on the state that you live in, it also determines if there was an insurance put in place, should there be a default or a breakup, what was in a divorce order, who is legally responsible for what item. So there's a whole list of things. But let's say everything is clear cut, case scenario, everything is clear cut, and the debt is not even in your name, and it was assumed while you were married, and you're not in a state where it's community property. So you take all of that out. I don't know if I prefer to answer that just outright because it depends on what was in the paperwork. That's why, we got to read, people. You got to know, what are you agreeing to? So I'm going to throw this out there for all my single sisters and single brothers. Before you get married, yes, go to marriage counseling, go to spiritual counseling, go to any kind of counseling, go to it all. But pull the credit report before you do, why, hey, look, hey, no harm in asking. Hey, dude, hey, sis, what's your credit score? When you marry a person, you marry everything about them. That includes the credit score, okay? Have the conversation about finances. How are we gonna pay our bills? Are we gonna be those that pay on time? Are we paying late? Are we gonna buy a $500 a month house? Are we gonna get $1,000? Those are the conversations you have to have. And I know I'm not quite answering her question, because it just depends on what state she's in. There are a lot of things that we do because we don't know. And so some people may be paying for things that you don't have to pay for. And I don't mean you're just charging stuff because you know that you can get away with it. I'm talking about a person that just truly want to make a turnaround in your credit. You may have fallen on a hard time, or you lost a job, or you transition to a new job where you have less pay, or whatever the case may be. And you truly want to do things the right way. There are laws and systems already in place to protect you and to help you. We just need to utilize it. And so I would rather answer that question in a one-on-one type situation because, like I said, it depends on where you live and what the agreement was and all that. But single people, have the conversation. Married people, it's time to sit down at the dinner table and let's revamp this thing. Let's see where we can do some turnaround, and let's come up with a plan, and let's also strategize. Once we get our plan in place, let's come up with a strategy on how we're going to execute. So I want to make sure that you guys have my information. There's my website. Go on there. Schedule your complimentary session. It's private, it's confidential. Let's put you in the right direction, whether you use my services or not. That is not what that is. That is just for me to kind of steer you in the right direction. And if I don't know something, I will let you know, hey, I don't know, I'll have to get back with you. But I just wanted to kind of come on today, give you guys some tip. I won't hold you long. Come back next week. We're going to have an awesome show lined up for you. The topic is still being, TBA, to be determined. But on October 28th, we will have a fitness and health webcast for you. So definitely come on. And I want to give you guys one more thing that I do want to share with you guys. The AK Legacy Foundation. Let me pull that. The website up again for you guys. this month, the month of October, we are raising awareness and raising funds for rides to the poll. So if you know anyone that need a ride to the poll, let us know. No matter which state you're in, we'll link you up, find someone that can help you or give you some service. But we're raising funds to help pay for some of those rides to the poll. So we've already partnered with a couple of organizations that will be picking people up, providing transportation, and providing snacks just in case the lines are long, like water and food, little light things like chips or something, just to keep a person from being so famished if they have to wait in line. Whether you're voting Democratic or Republican, that is not our place. But what we are saying and what we are requiring of everyone that is able to vote, vote. People died and fought so hard for us to have the right. And not just Black or Hispanic, I mean everyone, male, female, vote. You know, it is a right that we take so for granted. And we're on this age chart. I think it's 19. I forgot the year exactly, so don't quote me on it. History was not my favorite subject. That's why I'm in finance. All right, so, but if a person was born before 1960, probably, they're still living. I have friends that are that age. They didn't have the right to vote. So I think it was 1954, somewhere up in there. Um, they didn't have the right to vote. So that means your grandmother, somebody just a little older than me, were born without the right to vote. So I spent a lot of time on that. Next week, that's going to probably be our topic. We're going to get into how voting works, the logistics of it. I'm not sure if it's going to be next week or on the 3rd. So just kind of come back next Wednesday at 11. We're going to be coming before the year is out. We're in the last 90 days, guys, and there's a lot have gone on in 2020. So we're going to have a show coming up on taxes, how to prepare our taxes with the new everything that we're going to have. We're going to talk about some of the COVID-19 funds and resources that some of us may have taken advantage of. How will those affect our taxes? How it's going to affect our credit? What do we need to do to position ourselves for 21? And so we're going to talk about quite a few things. So I appreciate it, and I ask that everyone, if you would subscribe to the AK Legacy Foundation YouTube channel. I'll ask that you share and that you invite others, and we will see you back here next Wednesday at 11 o'clock, and also at Central Standard Time. And the replays are all available on our website at aklegacyfoundation.org or at martinbusinesssolution.com. You can go there and watch all the replays. It has definitely been a pleasure and an honor to be with you guys. And like I said, if we don't know the answer, we're going to do the research and we're going to find out, and we're going to get back with you guys. Don't want to give you any false information. Want to bring you the facts, and we will share our personal experiences with you as well to give you some hope and encouragement that you too can start over. You can always improve. So if you don't have a 750 or better on all three of your credit reports, reach out to us. Let us help you, whether it's through the foundation or if it's through a service. So you guys have a great day. Be blessed.